Hello, my friends. Welcome, income replacers. Today, we are talking about how to set up super simple systems for six-figure success. Welcome to this training where we are not only going to learn how to get set up and get all of your basics covered so that you can feel really confident in going out and getting those new clients and setting yourself up for six-figure success, but you can also do the work while we are actually on this training together, which is one of the things that makes it unique. I don't want to send you away with another huge to-do list. I want to help you set up and get some things in place, workshop this, make this a workshop while we are actually on this training together so that you can walk away knowing you are that much further toward bringing in those clients and having it be easier, having it not be overwhelming or scary to bring on a client because you've got the pieces in place. So I would love for you to say hello in the comments, whether you're watching me live or on the replay. Why am I doing this training? Because I know firsthand it's overwhelming to figure out what are the simplest and smartest tools and systems, not to mention the cheapest, right? What are the best value for you and your business? And we all know that when we go down the Google rabbit hole, we often wind up feeling overwhelmed and more confused than when we started, right? Can I get an amen? And so what I have done is I have curated a list of tools and systems that have helped me personally build 2 six-figure businesses from scratch. So if you know my story, you know that I started my first official side hustle in 2005. I went full-time with that side hustle in 2010, built it to a 6-figure business, started a couple of other businesses that were successful along the way, and then started Life with Passion in 2015. And Life with Passion has generated multiple 6 figures in income. Some of these systems I have been using for almost a decade. Some of these tools that I am going to recommend to you and talk to you about. So we're talking about generating multiple 6 figures in revenue while working part-time, literally growing, physically growing, and raising a family, and doing this on my own terms, just like I know that you want to. So these are the most valuable tools and systems that I can share with you today. And like I said, we're actually going to do the work while you're here today so that you can walk away with it set up and without more stuff on your to-do list. How great does that sound? Yay! So hi everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Hi Sarah, hi Linda, hi Kathy, hi Louise, hi Hannah, hi PJ. Yay! I'm so happy that you all are here. Hi Karen. So again, whether you're watching live or on the replay, I want you to ask me questions before, during, and after this training about the things that I'm going to share with you today. I'm going to be available to answer your questions about my recommendations because I want them to be the most helpful for you, and I want to be able to personalize them. Now, some of the things that I'm going to share with you today, I am an affiliate for. And so if you decide to sign up, if you decide to purchase them, then I may get a commission for them at no extra cost to you. Now, the cool thing about that is some of these tools I've been using for so long, or some of them I have a personal relationship with, and so I've been able to get some exclusive bonuses for you all that you can't just get if you were to go to their website. So I'm going to be sharing the links for those things with you all. Everything that I'm going to share with you today, I personally use, personally recommend, personally love, know, and believe in. And so I want you to know that too, that whether or not it's something I have an affiliate relationship with, whether or not I could ever make money off of it, I'm recommending it because I believe it's useful for you in scaling to 6 figures, okay? So let's dive in, because One more thing I want to tell you is that I am not a super techie, super geeky, super like, I wish I was a chief operations officer somewhere because all I want to do is create systems all day long. No, I want to be doing the work. I want to be helping high achievers like you transform their lives through entrepreneurship. I do not want to be sitting and making flowcharts and spreadsheets and all of that. So if you can relate to that, then you're in the right place, because I've chosen these systems because they give me more time to do what I want, not for the sake of having systems, not for the sake of having complex spreadsheets, not for the sake of having all kinds of really complicated systems. I know that sometimes when we join these workshops, we can walk away feeling like, oh my gosh, well, that's nice for them. They have that all set up, but that seems like really far away from me. It seems like it's going to take a really long time, right? Not the case today. Not the case today. What I want to do is help you get paid faster. I want to help you cover your potential legal bases, and I want to help you get your questions answered about what actually works in the trenches, on the ground to build these businesses. Sound good? Awesome. Now, the first thing that I want to dive in on is, if you are a service-based business, meaning if you are offering services done with you, done for you, coaching, consulting, web design, graphic design, any of that kind of thing, if you are offering services to clients, there are only two things that you need in order to be able to begin booking clients and making money and working your way to income replacement and to six figures. Now, some of you have heard me say this before, maybe some of my clients. If you know the answer to what those two things are, or what one of those things are, I want you to drop it in the comments. Let's see. Does anyone know the two things, and the only two things you need in order to be able to start getting clients, accepting clients, signing clients, booking out with clients? There are only two things. And my great friend, Sarah Kornblatt, who's a lawyer for entrepreneurs, taught me this. Two things. Could not be any more simple. All right? Number one, the first thing that you need is a client agreement. Okay? You need a client agreement. You need something in writing that says, these are my policies. This is the way that I expect things to go. This is what you get in exchange for what you're paying me. This is how much you're paying me. And sign it, you sign it, I sign it, client agreement. You can call it a contract, you can call it whatever you want. You need a client agreement. So I want you to tell me, do you have one yet? If you're offering services, do you have a client agreement in place? Whether you are some kind of a coach, whether you're some kind of a consultant, if you're providing some kind of service, you need a client agreement. Why? This removes the stress of, oh my gosh, what if they don't show up? What if they don't pay? What if they cancel all the time? What if they back out? While we can't control human behavior, the more clearly we can outline something, the more likely we are to get what we've outlined, right? So in these cases, a lot of times what happens is we feel like we have to go personally to a lawyer, and we have to get them to draft something that's specific to our state, to our county, to our whatever. What we forget a lot of times is that there are all different kinds of lawyers, just like there are all different kinds of physicians, doctors, and going to just someone you know who's a lawyer doesn't mean that you're going to wind up with something that's applicable to your type of business. So if you are an online service provider and you are providing some kind of service to clients, then you need a client agreement. And my friends, I have a recommendation for you. All right. I am going to recommend the one that I use, I have purchased from, my clients have purchased from, my colleagues use. some of whom are way farther along in business than me. And this is a person and a brand I totally know and trust personally and believe in. Destination Legal, okay? Destination Legal, Sarah Kornblad, who I mentioned earlier, has created templates. That are specific to what you do, whether you're a contractor, whether you're a freelancer, whether you are a business coach, whether you are a health coach, whether you sell whatever, whether you're affiliating for someone else, whether or not you know what any of those things mean. She has something to help you, whether you have a website that you're worried about making sure is covered. Remember when GDPR was a big deal a year ago, if you were paying any attention to websites then? Sarah has created a legal template that is super cost effective and is going to work for you. Now, she has also given us, people part of the Life with Passion community, 15% discount on all of her templates. And I'm dropping it in the comments right now if you're watching this live. If you're watching on the replay, there's going to be a file with all of this stuff in there for you that you can grab in one place. But I cannot recommend Sarah and her templates highly enough. They're a great value. And I'm going to be really honest with you and share a mistake that I made when I was starting in this business. I didn't have a very big network in this business. And I was scared about this client thing, this contract thing, right? I was coming from another industry where I had a contract, but I knew I was providing different services at the time. So I didn't know how to pick up that client agreement and translate it to coaching. And so I only had one recommendation, and I just didn't feel right about Googling stuff because it was legal stuff, you know? So I only had one recommendation, and it was like a 4-figure purchase to buy the basic template to get me set up. And I was like, well, this seems expensive, which it was and is, but it was something I knew I needed, and I didn't know I had any other options, so I bought it. Now, Sarah's stuff is less expensive than that. Sarah's stuff is a great value, and what you get with the template is you plug and play your offer, your price, your city, state, all of that stuff, and it has all the legal stuff to get you covered, right? That's what you're going to get when you purchase through Sarah. And make sure to use that link and the code PASSION so that you can get 15% off, right? Because if you just go to her site, none of that stuff applies. And I want you to get 15% off because it's a significant savings. You can go and, I don't know, get a mani-pedi or do something kind for yourself or invest in some other way in your business, right? So that's the first thing that you need. Sarah would say that's the most important thing before even, her recommendation is not even going and getting anything like an LLC or anything like that until you have, until you've generated like 50K in business, okay? Until you've generated your first $50,000, because it adds a level of complexity. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but that's what the lawyer says, right? So a lot of times, one of the first questions I get is, well, should I just go ahead and go to the business office and set up an LLC? Or do that online or whatever and get an EIN and all these things. And if you know what that means, great. And if you don't, like, don't worry about it if you haven't generated your first 50,000 in revenue, according to Sarah. You want to go ahead and be making money before you add that layer of complexity and additional taxes, additional reporting, and all of that kind of thing. Okay. So, but you do first need a way to help clients agree to work with you, right? And that is where I cannot highly enough recommend Destination Legal. Use the link to get 15% off. How great is that? She doesn't do that for everyone either. So if you have questions, that link is going to take you to all of the options. If you have questions about which one is right for you, then please feel free to ask and tag me, and I will help you. I will make a recommendation for you. Okay? That's thing number one you need. You need a client agreement in order to start accepting clients. Or if you don't have one yet, or you don't feel good about the one that you have, you need one that you feel really good about. And I feel really good about this one, which is why I'm recommending it to you. And I have bought her stuff. I know firsthand how great it is, right? Which is the case with all this stuff I'm recommending. All right. Let me know if you have questions about those templates. That's thing one that you need. You need a client agreement, a way for the two of you to come together and say, this is what we're doing together, and let's make it legal by signing. Okay? Now, the second thing that you need, the second out of the only two things that you actually need in order to start accepting clients in terms of systems and tools, is a way to get paid. A way to get paid, right? It's like, it's so simple. But also, a lot of times we get really, really overwhelmed by this. Here's my story around this. When I first started providing services, my first business was a digital marketing agency. I did websites, I did social media, branding, content for small businesses. And I was doing everything on the cheap or for free. You know, I bootstrapped my businesses. And so I decided that I was going to start doing my invoicing for my first clients via Excel. Okay. Now I was using a Mac at the time. This is before Google Sheets, Google Docs, Google Drive existed. And so I would have to power down my Mac in the Mac OS and repower it up in this super slow dual operating system that would allow me to run Excel through Microsoft. So janky. And it would take me like 10 or 15 minutes to do that because it was so slow. And then I had to open up Excel, which I didn't like. I'm not a spreadsheets girl. And then I had to make a spreadsheet, which I thought looked ugly. And then I had to export it as a PDF so that, you know, the client couldn't change it. And then I had to get it in my email and send it. And then they had to pay me by check. And then once I got paid, I had to find a way to report it. Do you know what I did instead? I just didn't freaking bill. Like, I was procrastinating on billing, the lifeblood of your business, making money, making profits, because I didn't want to deal with the way that I had told myself I had to bill. It's like so ridiculous looking back on it now, but I was trying to do it for free, right? So I did that for a little while until I realized that was dumb. That was not smart, Christine. And that was not helping me grow my business. And it was not where I needed to be spending my time. Even then, a very, very simple mindset shift of being willing to spend $15 a month to have this made easier was a big deal for me. So if you're there, believe me, I get it. This is one of the very first investments that I made in my business, was a system to help me get paid faster and track those things so that come tax time, right, which a lot of us are totally scared of when it's new. We've never had to do anything except take our like W-9, W-2, W-9, it's been so long since I've been an employee, and like put it into TurboTax or whatever and spit out a number that we get back, right? So I was scared about how complicated this is going to be, and it just led to a lot of procrastination and avoidance. Now, the thing that changed how I felt about billing, invoicing, taxes, all of that forever is this tool called FreshBooks. Now, FreshBooks has been around for a while, and I was a very early customer of theirs because I had been doing some project management stuff in QuickBooks for a client of mine, and I hated QuickBooks. I thought it was clunky. I thought it reminded me just of like kind of a lot of the other systems that I just didn't think were pretty, and I wanted something that was more intuitive and didn't feel like another spreadsheet. And so I found FreshBooks. And I have been using FreshBooks since at least 2010, So almost a decade now, and I love them. I love, love, love them. FreshBooks is a way to get paid, is a way to invoice, is a way to get paid. And it's also, it also tracks all of your expenses for you. You can track your time in it if you're wanting to get tighter with your time, or you're billing to someone based on hourly rate, or you have contractors who are billing you based on how many hours they spend. All for so reasonable. So I think I started at like $10 $10 or $15 a month was their lowest price. And within the first month, I was like, I have totally made this back, because at the time I was billing per hour, and I could see how I had billed at least $15 more time by not sitting there waiting to download and upload and reboot and Excel, blah, right? So can anyone relate to this? I want to know, like, is this helpful to talk about? Or are you all already like, I already have a way to get paid, Christine. I'm way ahead of you. Let me know in the comments. And while you're doing that, I am going to share the link to get a free trial of FreshBooks. Here's the thing about FreshBooks. It's so great, because I've been working with them so long. If you just go to their website, you get 30-day trial for free. But because I'm a super fan, they give you a 60-day trial, 2 months for free. So you can try it out for the summer for free. Get your stuff set up in it, see if you like it. Here is FreshBooks. Get a free 60-day trial instead of the normal 30 by using this link. FreshBooks changed my relationship with billing, and therefore my relationship with money in my business. Now, QuickBooks remains a standard for a lot of people who've been trained in accounting or as CPAs, but FreshBooks has added the functionality that a lot of people who really love QuickBooks said, oh, well, the reason I won't work in FreshBooks is because it doesn't have X, Y, and Z. Or now I don't need to get into that here, but I will tell you that since that time, FreshBooks has added X, Y, and Z. You can give your accountant your CPA access. My personal accountant, CPA, who works with hundreds of small business owners. That's her jam, right? She works for a big national firm, but she also has her own business working with small businesses. She works with FreshBooks, and she's like a super nice person. And she will do, which, sometimes people who really, really like numbers, and listen, my mom has her CPA license and did that for a long time. So and I love my mom. So this is not a knock on anybody who's a CPA or who has studied accounting. I've helped multiple CPAs and accountants quit their jobs and do their own businesses, whether in bookkeeping or something else. But sometimes people who get into CPA work, accounting work, numbers work, sometimes they like working with numbers more than they like working with people. It's just like kind of how I'm a huge animal lover, right? But sometimes you get to people, whether it's in a rescue or some kind of full-time working with animals job, you get to know people, and sometimes they're better at working with animals than they are working with people, right? Sometimes it's the case with CPAs, and so I love my CPA. She will do a free consult with you and tell you if she can help you. If you're looking for one, I'm happy to make her recommendation. Let me know in the comments if you want her contact information. And she works with FreshBooks, so it's kind of like a dual, yay! Awesome. So Louise says it's super helpful to have recommendations based on your experience. I'm so glad, Louise. And Mallory says, I really like FreshBooks too. Yay! So glad, Mallory, a beautiful client, former client and friend of mine who has graduated and gone on to your own amazing, amazing service-based business. So FreshBooks is really easy to set up too. I just walked through it with a client recently who still does all her bookkeeping by check, and it's so simple to set up. So there you go. That's FreshBooks. So to recap those two things, for a lot of you, this is all you're going to need right now. Two things to start accepting clients or continue accepting clients until you are full. You need a way to get paid, and you need a client agreement, a legal document that outlines your arrangement, right? Or a contract, whatever you want to call it. Same thing in this case. That's it. So tell me, do you have those two things? Do you have questions around setting up a way to get paid or setting up your client agreement? I want to answer them for you. Because if you have these two things in place, you can go get clients. You can go get as many clients as you want. Now, I've done a lot of other trainings on how to create your programs, how to create your offers, how to price them, how to niche down, right? But when it comes to actually bringing in clients and the literal tools that I use to bring them in on a monthly basis, right, and make that six-figure income, this is what you start with. This is the foundation. If you get more complicated than this and you spend a lot of time hiding out behind trying to make the perfect website or the perfect opt-in or anything like that before you have these two things in place, you're wasting your time, right? Because when you have these two things in place, you can go and you can start talking to people you already know about your offers, right? You can start getting in front of them, and you know in the back of your mind that when you find people to help, you have a way to get paid quickly, because offering something like this and sending online invoices, studies show you get paid like up to weeks faster than if you wait around, send someone an Excel invoice and ask them for a check, right? You can actually see when they've opened your invoice too, and you get notified when you get paid, and it's like so exciting because then it just goes into your bank account. And having that client agreement is a real professional thing too, right? You just send it over and it's like, okay, it's done. It's awesome, right? Mallory says, I'm all about streamlining my business. Oh my gosh, Mallory, you are so good at that. Like that is one of your like superpowers. I love what you do. And Freshfix says, streamline that for me with time tracking and billing. Yes, exactly, right? You don't even have to think about it. There's an app on your phone you can time track, bill, send invoices from. You can do it on your computer if you prefer, whatever, right? So smart. I love that. Oh my gosh, Mallory, thank you. Mallory gave me the title a couple of years ago, I think, Queen Christine of Simplicity. I love it. My little crown. Thank you. Awesome. Okay. So when you have those two things in place, and like, do not stop, do not pass go, do not collect $200, because you can't, because you don't have a way to bill people until you have your client agreement set up and your invoicing set up, right? Invoicing, expense tracking, all of that to make your tax time so much easier too and save you all that time. Next, you need a way for people to schedule with you, right? Now, there are a lot of different great scheduling systems out there, but my goal is to keep it as simple for you as possible for this stage of business, okay? For the stage of business I know that most of you are in. So the tool that I have used to schedule appointments of all kinds, client appointments, interviews, connection calls, all of that, since I started this business, is a tool called Calendly. Calendly.com. Calendly.com, I love it because it integrates with Google Calendar, which is what I use on my phone, which is what I use on my computer. You know, when I added team and assistants, like they can add stuff in either place, right? You set availability, you send a link, and people schedule through it. It could not be easier. In terms of simplicity of the interface, I have seen, obviously, and been on both sides of several, right? There are several other ones out there with different functionalities, just like with anything. Calendly, in my opinion, is the cleanest and simplest, and it's also perhaps the least expensive, okay? So they have a free version where if you only have one length of appointment, like let's say all you're gonna do is have conversations with people about potentially working together, and maybe those run an hour. And let's say then if you work with them, when you meet with them, whether you're going over designs or whether you're coaching them, let's say those appointments are an hour, like for the sake of simplicity. You can use the same link for everything and it's totally free. But even when you start adding options, like I might, offer a connection call, a coffee chat with someone for 30 minutes. My client calls might be 45 minutes, right? Then it's only $10 a month. It's only $10 a month. Like, so inexpensive. It shows up, the minute someone books it, it shows up on your Google Calendar too. You just set your availability, send the links, and go with it. Calendly. So that's the way that all of your clients can book in their sessions. They can reschedule them themselves if they need to. You can ask questions ahead of time to gather information, right? If you offer one-off sessions, you can even link to, to FreshBooks and all of that. So simple. So once you have, again, your client agreement and a way to get paid, depending on your business, if you need to schedule meetings of any kind, you could use Calendly. And that's what I've been using for 3.5 years now. There are all kinds of really compelling studies out there that show that if you use a scheduler like Calendly, instead of going back and forth in email with, oh, give me some times, make sure you include your time zone, blah, 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 you save yourself something like 15 to 20 minutes per appointment. Now, when we're building our businesses on limited time, whether you're part-time, whether you're side hustling, whether you're just getting started, or whether you're full-time, time is so valuable, right? So give yourself the gift of more time, allow yourself to make it easier, and use an awesome scheduler. I personally recommend Calendly, okay? Mallory says, I've used the free version and it's so easy to use, and you can even ask them questions to answer before your call. Exactly, right? So if you want to get a little bit more information on them so that you walk into the call knowing what they're looking for, like where they are in business or what their needs might be, or whatever, where they are in their health, whatever your specialty is, that information comes straight to your email. It's like, oh, an appointment has been booked and here are the answers. Here's all about them. How great is that, right? You want to outsource some of this stuff from your brain? Calendly can help you do that. Yay! Mallory, I love that you've tried so much of this stuff too, and thank you for sharing your experience. All right, now, what is next? What is next sort of in the path that we typically take when we are building a business, okay? Once you have these 3 things in place, a way to get paid, number 1 or number 2, a client agreement, number 1 or number 2, those things are in a category all their own. Then you need a way to schedule with people other than going back and forth in email or text or messenger or whatever, trying to keep track of all that. And then next, for a lot of us who love to make lists, a tool, I know you're gonna love this one, Mallory. You need a tool to keep track of your tasks. Whether you are working with someone, meaning like you are a service provider for someone, you're a virtual assistant, where someone else might be giving you tasks, or whether you are a consultant or a coach where you are giving yourself tasks and giving maybe a client tasks. I love Asana. Now, I used Basecamp for a lot of years, and they changed their business model a couple of years ago, and it didn't suit what I needed as much anymore. So Asana is not only more of what I like and need and love to collaborate on, but it's also, its free version is literally so robust that you might never need to upgrade. So if any of you know Entrepreneur on Fire, if you know Entrepreneur on Fire, if you know the team that runs it, the owner is John Lee Dumas. His partner in life and business is this awesome project manager, expert, systems person named Kate Erickson. And Kate, they're just really like organized, super, super structured people, right? Like John Lee Dumas is a veteran. They love their order. They are like way planners. And Kate keeps track of all of that stuff for them. And she shared that, and their business is multiple 7 figures, she still uses the free version of Asana. Okay, so if you want some social proof for Asana, there you go. Not only do I love it, not only does Mallory love it, who does this full-time, streamlining her own business and other people's businesses for a living, but also someone who makes multiple millions of dollars every year is using the free version of Asana. And you can get free version of Asana at asana.com. Could not be easier, my friends. Awesome. Stephanie says, I'm preferring Acuity. Yeah, Acuity is a great scheduling tool. I just helped a client who has an in-person business. So a lot of you know that I am a major horse lover, and I have horses. And the training barn where I have my gelding right now is also offers trail rides and lessons. And they were doing everything by paper and needed a robust, like multiple people scheduling system. And after looking at the options, we chose Acuity for her, and it's totally blown up her earnings. And so in certain cases, totally other things work better. I have always found that simple is best when we're getting started, and I find Calendly much, much simpler to use than, and also less expensive than Acuity. So that's why I recommend Calendly to start with, but certainly Acuity has some benefits as well. Yeah, thank you, Mallory, for answering that question. Belinda, it's different than like the Basecamp campfire, if that's what you mean. To me, yeah, I have clients who love like Voxer support, and I will use Voxer for them. And I don't even know if you can do voice messages in regular Basecamp, but Basecamp's like $100 a month. The last time I checked, compared to free, which can be a significant investment for, you know, people who are just getting started. And so for being able to go back and forth in comments, I really like Asana for that. Hi, Barbs, great to see you. Okay, I want to give you a couple more resources. This is sequential, right? This is totally sequential in your business. If you have or want to have an opt-in, then I recommend that the way that you offer that to people is separate from your regular website if you have one of those, and that perhaps you even consider setting up a place to grab opt-ins and prioritize that even before you go in and set up a whole website. Because so often what I find is that becomes a procrastination technique, because it can get really overwhelming to set up a big site and then we never put it out to the world. So you could do a simple sales page, contact me as a one-page website. You could do an opt-in where you offer your freebie. All these things are called landing pages, okay? The point of a landing page, which is basically like a one-page website, is that you offer someone the opportunity to either get the thing that you're offering or they have to leave, right? That's why they used to be called, I don't really like this term as much, but squeeze pages, opt-in page, landing page, whatever. The reason is that they have to make a decision. If they go to a website that has 7 or 10 or whatever pages, they can mess around, they can click around, they can find themselves getting bored, and they can leave, right? Which is what happens a lot of the time. But if you send them to one page that has the option to either get something or leave, then they're faced with that decision. And more likely than not, if you set up your page right, and it's something that they want, they will say yes and send it. So like an example would be the main one that I'm using right now, example of opt-in page or landing page, is livewithpassion.com/free chapter. Okay, when you go there, you have one option. Get the first chapter of my book or not. It's totally up to you. but that's the only choice to make on that page, right? And that's what a landing page is all about. So when you begin doing something on a larger scale, when you've already honed in on your niche, on your message, on your offer, on all of that, and you're ready and you've tested it and you've gotten that going in more organic, like smaller ways, one-to-one, and you're ready to start putting it out there, whether you go on a podcast or write an article, or you're being featured somewhere, or you have a place to promote it in a Facebook group, yours or someone else's, millions of ways to do that, then you want to send them very directly to an opt-in page, to a freebie page, to a landing page, okay? And the tool that I love for this is Lead Pages. Lead Pages is the only tool that I have used over the past 3.5 years to add multiple thousands of people to my email list. That's it. The only tool. We even use a thing that they provide called a lead box on my main website. So if you go and it pops up, that's through Lead Pages. All right. Lead Pages has a free trial. And I'll put in the landing page, opt-in page, freebie page. Lead Pages has a free trial you can get if you use that link. Again, I love them so much. I affiliate for them because I believe in them 100%. And my clients and colleagues use them too. They are the most intuitive and the most support focused of these tools that I have heard about, trialed, used over the past 3.5 years. And they're the only ones that I have paid to collect leads. So some of you may have gone to that free chapter page, and that's how we connected, right? You heard me on a podcast or something. It's seamless, it's intuitive. They are constantly testing and tweaking to see if we put the button here, which would make people click more. It's very, very simple to use, but then it also scales up. Like Amy Porterfield uses Lead Pages, and she says, look, a lot of people think Lead Pages is just for people who are getting started, which it is, but Amy Porterfield, the queen of online marketing, still uses it, right? Dana Wild, who a lot of you know may have found through me, or vice versa, may have found me through, is a great friend of mine, a 7-figure business owner, loves Lead Pages, okay? So what I love about it is that it's as simple as someone getting started looking for their first or next or to getting booked out client. It's as simple as someone like that needs, and then it's also as robust as someone like Amy Porterfield needs. All right? So Lead Pages is where you can collect leads. That's only if you have these other 4 pieces in place and unlock before you are ready, right? So your job, and you can ask me for feedback on this, but your job is to dial in on where in this process you are. It's just like identifying where in the income replacement formula you are, right? There are 7 steps. So part of the work is going, which of these steps am I in so that I can do what I'm supposed to do in this step? So maybe you're here and you're like, well, I don't have a way to get paid and I don't have a client agreement. Great, do that stuff first. Come back to the rest of this later, right? Don't even worry about it. Oh my gosh, there's a bird building a nest right outside my window. It's so cute. Tiny little bird with a stick like this big in its mouth. It's kind of how I feel right now, being 9 months pregnant. Like, okay, I feel you, bird. If you are collecting leads with a system like Lead Pages, then what's next? You need something to do with those leads, right? You need a way to stay in front of them. Now, when you're first getting started in business, you can do all of this personally. And those personal outreaches are going to have a higher conversion rate, one-to-one, right, than when you use a tool to reach a larger audience. That is a basic tenet of business. But there comes a time when your audience is too big to get to know every single person individually. Now, I want to encourage you that if you have a small audience, whether it's one person, 10 people, 100 people, doesn't matter. Whatever you're telling yourself is your audience and that it's small, that is actually amazing. My friend Adrienne Dorison used to have this program called Little List Leverage. And I love what that encompasses because it basically, her premise was, listen, you don't need a big list to have a big business because you can actually get to know people individually and really help serve them and give them what they need, right? And I interviewed another friend of mine who helps people with launches. And she said, my email list is less than 500 people and I have a 6-figure business, right? So a lot of times we hear, oh, you have to have a huge list to have, blah, 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 blah. No, like it's knowing when to apply these tools at what stage of your business, okay? And knowing that, yes, automation is cool. And yes, being able to delegate some of this stuff is cool. And being able to reach thousands of people with a click of a button is cool. But it doesn't mean you have to wait until you're there to have a 6-figure business. It's knowing when to apply the tools that is going to help you get and remain profitable, rather than doing them just because people say you need them, which is why I'm doing this training, to tell you the order I recommend that you do these things, all right? So that's my little soapbox. Back to the actual tool. Once you are collecting leads, okay? Once you are collecting leads, like I said, I use lead pages to add multiple thousands of people to my email list. Once you are collecting leads and you feel like, okay, it's time for me to be able to reach more of them than I could individually, right? Then it's time to set up an email system. And the one that I recommend is ActiveCampaign. I like ActiveCampaign because just like lead pages, it is simple enough to use when you are just getting started. And it's robust enough that multiple friends of mine who used to use something like real complicated, whether it was a software called Infusionsoft, which you may have heard of, which is very expensive and very hard to use, or something else like it, have switched to ActiveCampaign, even with massive, massive, massive email lists, okay? So here's a link for ActiveCampaign, which, as I mentioned with some of these tools, I'm also an affiliate for. You can go there and you can get a free trial. We've been using them for 1.5 years now, and I really like them. Before that, I was using MailChimp, which had and has a free trial. But they have changed a lot of things over the past 1.5 years since we moved over, and not all for the better, in my opinion. So I love ActiveCampaign because it's simple, but it also has a ton of functionality that allows you to grow with it. So that's ActiveCampaign to set up your email marketing. One thing that I want to say about all of these tools is that, again, I'm not a super, super techie person. I have an amazing virtual assistant who does a lot of the back-end stuff for me now. I figured out a lot of this on my own at first. I think all of it on my own at first. And then got to a point where I was ready to delegate, which I recommend, so that you know what to ask for when you are hiring a virtual assistant. You know what they're capable of and what they're not, and you can still be the expert in your business. And once you've learned everything, you can decide what you really like, what you kind of like, and what you hate. You can delegate the stuff that you hate, but that you need to keep doing. So what I want to say is that, like, none of us are ActiveCampaign certified experts, lead page certified experts, and FreshBooks certified experts, Asana certified experts. What I love about every single one of these tools is that they're designed for people who need support, people like me. And so they're all entrepreneurially owned. Why can I not say that word? I'm blaming it on pregnancy. entrepreneurially owned, and they're all like small businesses, which I love to support as one of my core values, right? And their support is second to none. If you're paying them $10 a month, they're going to get back to you, right? And they're going to help you, and they have a lot of trainings and all of that provided. So for people like you and me who aren't just the total techie nerds that want to get in there and mess with code and do all the techie stuff, they make it easy. And that's why I love them. Every single one of them has great support where I feel like I can reach out and ask a question anytime I want. And I want the same thing for you too. Now, we're going to review these, but while we do that, I want to let you know that now or later, if you have any questions about these products or recommendations, I want you to feel free to ask. You know, as I mentioned at the beginning of this, I am a proud affiliate for some of these programs because every single one of them, whether I'm an affiliate or not, has helped my business and my clients and my colleagues' businesses too. So if you decide to purchase them, I may get a commission at no extra cost to you. And in some cases, you're going to get extra stuff just for using my link, like an extra month free trial or 15% off, right? Because of my relationship with them. But regardless of whether I have an affiliate relationship with them or not, these are the tools I genuinely love, use every day, and recommend personally to my clients as well. And that's why I'm doing this training for you. And again, the order that I delivered them to you in is the order that I recommend you set up these systems. And if, as you go in, you do your free trials, try them out, you have questions, tag me here, send me a message and go, I'm not sure about this, right? Because I want to be able to make sure that they're helpful for you as well. Mallory says it's all about creating systems to help you create efficiencies, and all these systems do just that. Mallory, I love that. That's like beautifully said. And for those of you who don't know Mallory, first of all, you should know her. Mallory is a friend, a dear friend, and former client, and I didn't ask her to say any of this. I'm really glad to see you here, Mallory. I know your schedule is really full, so this is a wonderful surprise. But Mallory is a total badass virtual assistant for seven-figure business owners, right? And her whole job is creating efficiencies for service providers like you and me, right? And so this is what she lives in every day. And she's much better at it than I am, which is why she does it full time. So Mallory, I love knowing that you're using some of these same systems even as you work and do this full time in your business. Not only just to make things simple so that you get to do more of what you love, but like this is actually what you love, is working with each of these. So very quickly to recap, my friends, you need two things in order to start accepting clients. And if you remember one thing from this training, I want you to remember this. Two things that you need in order to start accepting clients, as told to me by my lawyer friend, which I am not, but of which she is. You need a way to get paid, and you need a client agreement or contract, right? You'll have the links to those and to get extra bonuses in the comments or in the file attached to this. After that, you need a scheduler. The simplest one that I've found, the one that I've used, the one that has a forever free version is Calendly.com. After that, I recommend Asana for project management. Forever free for everything that you probably need. After that, when you're ready to take your opt-in, your freebie, whatever to the masses, and you need a landing page software, I recommend Lead Pages. I give you an example of mine, of one of mine, the main one I'm using as of right now, and an opportunity to go and grab a free trial. And then you need a way to connect with people who you collect leads on, who you collect email addresses for. And for email, if you want to call it a CMS, email marketing, whatever, system that I recommend is ActiveCampaign. All right, so that's a summary. And if you have questions, let me know. I'm really glad that you all joined me today. I trust that this was helpful for you. And as you go through this, as you move through the stages of your business this month, next month, whatever, ask yourself how many of these pieces that you have in place are ready, and then you will know exactly what the next one is to set up, right? None of these have to involve like really complicated spreadsheets or any of that. It's all about creating efficiencies, just starting with a few replicable systems that you can get in place to know in your head, in your heart, have peace around this because this is solved. I can easily send an invoice. I can easily get paid. I can easily schedule someone. It's not going to take me 3 days to get a call, an appointment set up. Wait for people to get back to me. I can easily keep everything organized for tax time. I can easily send over an outline of everything, and I don't have to go spend $1,000 to hire a lawyer to do it. And I can easily get in front of people and build my audience specifically for someone like me. That's what I want for you. I want you to go out and rock it with these simple systems, with these tools. I want you to let me know how it's going, give me some feedback, and know that I am cheering you on, because this is going to help free up your time. This is going to help grow your business faster. It's going to help you focus more on your zone of genius. And it's going to help you ultimately make more money and be happier doing it. Because you didn't get into business to be a CPA, unless you're a CPA who provides services to entrepreneurs or something, and you're watching this. You didn't get into business to be a lawyer. You didn't get into business to be a programmer, right? Or whatever. You got into business to do what you love. And the more you allow yourself to use tools that automate and delegate things for you in your business, the more time you get to spend doing what you love, billing for it, making money, replacing your income, and freeing up your time to do the things that you enjoy in your life. I'm so excited to hear how these things are going. If this video and training was helpful, please let me know. If you want more stuff like this, let me know. If you have questions, comments, feedback, please leave it for me in the comments. Hope you have a wonderful day, an awesome income replacing week, month, and season ahead. And I will talk to you soon. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your interaction. I love you all. Here's to your income replacement and setting up simple systems for six-figure success.